Hey copper nerds, check out this depiction of Liberty. She definitely is the same across our braided hair copper as well as on our gold piece here, which is a double eagle. And we're going to talk a little bit about that design as well as what else was happening with US coinage during that era. So 1840 was a big year for American coinage when we transitioned into this braided hair head style in copper, but it's also about the same time that gold started using that same depiction of liberty. I've got a red book here. We'll just kind of take a look at what was happening in 1840 across the various US coins. Half cents, of course, which we have right here. Our braided hair starts in 1840. Going to our large cents, we're going to see the same thing as I'm working off camera here. But, we have those transitional, booby and silly heads and whatnot from our matron head designs, but they sort of land with the braided hair cents starting in 1840. We have the petite head and the mature head, of course, but very similar design. But what was happening across the rest of the series was our seated liberty designs, right? So if we go look at a dime from 1840, we are in that that seated hair range from 1838 and on for quite a while. Let's go look at quarters. We're going to see the same situation. There we go. So 1838, again, we have that seated design, which we're also going to see on our half dollars. 1839, seated, and our dollars will be the same. There we are. Oh, that's going to be like our type 2. Here we go. 1840. So in 1840, while the silver was getting the seated liberty design, our copper and gold was getting this wonderful depiction of liberty, sort of a close-up of her face and bust rather than the entire depiction of liberty seated. When we go into gold, gold dollars didn't pop up until 1849, and we have that same depiction of liberty, followed by our Indian princesses. Our quarter eagles, again, 1840 is when we start seeing that liberty head, or what we would call a braided hair, in our copper world. Half eagles, same situation. 1842 for that half eagle. They used an earlier version of that depiction of liberty before that, up until 1840, 41, and then 42 went to that similar head style. Our full eagles, go back. There we go. 1838. So this may have been a little bit of a predecessor, since we didn't see that petite head until 1840. And double eagles. Here we go. Didn't come about till 1849 on the double eagle. But when we saw that our cents and half cents ended in 1857, but the double eagle carried that design all the way through until 1907. So we went another 50 years after the death of the large cent and half cent, which had this depiction of liberty, but another 50 years where the double eagle was rolling like this until the St. Gaudens came out with that cool high relief in 1907. So just a little comparison of what was happening with copper and gold exclusively and separately from the silver coinage of the day. And, I've always loved this depiction of liberty. And the braided hairs, truly, outside of the 1793s and 4s, the braided hairs are some of the most beautiful depictions of liberty out there, I think. And just for the pure aesthetics and affordability, you can't go wrong with some braided hair large cents. And then, as part of your retirement investment strategy, you might want to pick up some gold and silver too. Thanks for checking in. We'll catch you in the next one and see you in the comments. Cheers.